Hey, check up. Let's play some D.
Welcome to episode 59 of Play Some D. As always, it is me, is a boy, the coach, the D. Uh, yeah, we got some. There's actually a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on over this past week or so, and there's some stuff that I just will skip and totally not talk about. Deshaun Watson did get 6 games. I thought he would get 8. I did a video. I think it was I want to say it was episode 56 maybe. I did put up posted a little short in regards to it. But anyway, I mean that's whatever. Shameless plug on the channel about the channel, just so whatever. But yeah, it's just there's been a good amount of news. The Nancy Pelosi in Taiwan is a deal that happened on Tuesday, Tuesday night in Taiwan, Tuesday morning in the U.S. There's just a couple of things that would have been interesting to talk about, but I won't totally delve into. There were some primaries on Tuesday in a few states that turned to be pretty important somewhat. But this week I am going to talk about, and there's a couple things that I did want to put in place, but as a basketball guy, Play Some D was originally orchestrated as being mostly sports related, specifically basketball related, and a legend was lost on July 31st. So I'll talk about Bill Russell. I'll talk about just the weird news of Warner Brothers and Batgirl and Scooby-Doo movie, and just a couple directions that I don't know if it totally hurts them, but I'll talk about just Warner Brothers and Batgirl probably in third quarter. We'll talk about some layoffs. Robin Hood laid off a large percentage of their staff, and I'll just go through the list of some companies that recently laid off employees. And obviously, well, not obviously, but there was some there were some albums that released. I try not to do. I don't want to do album. I'm not gonna do an album review every week, but I will do. I really do Beyonce. I really do Beyonce. I'll talk about why in the, as you know, when I like to do my good stuff is in the fourth quarter. Beyonce will be in fourth quarter, and I'll review her album and talk about why. Well, I'm really doing it because it's a good album. That's the that's a spoiler. But as always, you don't mind the sub button, hit the like button, drop a comment. Let me know how you feel about said topics. But let's jump into it. And first quarter is about Bill Russell. William Felton Russell was born on February 12th, 1934. There's a lot of different things a lot of different people would like to call Bill Russell. Champion is obviously up there. Number one thing you can call him is 11-time champion. I was just talking to uncle and some friends about where people go in the list of top 10, top fives, and you could obviously argue that he's top five, maybe even four if you want. Just for a number of different reasons, but one of the biggest things is just during the era that he played basketball in. I mean, it was just rough. I mean, racism and discrimination and different things that a lot of people say a lot of different things about Celtics fans, and to obviously winning in anything is above all. So once he started winning, it's hard for at least the fan base to be anything but decent to him, I guess you can say. But I'm sure it was rough for him knowing that he was playing a sport for people that didn't really appreciate anything he did for them outside of win a championship. So I'm sure, just the pressure of that alone. Mind you, I always argue that he played in a different era where, he was just literally better than everybody. So that's another part of it. But he is an 11-time NBA champion, 12-time NBA All-Star, 5-time MVP, won the All-Star MVP, 3-time first team, 8-time second team, rebounding champion 4 times, and all defensive first team once. Number 6 is retired by the Celtics. He was born in Washington, Mercy Island, Washington. He did go to college in San Francisco. So the San Francisco Dons, which I have no idea who that is. Oh, that's a men's college basketball. Oh, that's the University of San Francisco. They also retired his number 6 jersey. So his accomplishments, everything he's done for the game, he was a huge ambassador. All the players respected him. He was always like, at all the award shows, all the games, you could just tell. I think Mike Wilbon I saw mention like most important person to put on a basketball jersey. The sentiment is good. I actually like that saying. I just don't know if that's totally true. Everybody wants to say things about people when they pass away and give them, And I think he was probably one of those people that did get his flowers. So I think he is, I'm sure he was fine and was well aware of how people felt about him, which is also good. But saying nice things is nice, but I don't know. I'm not saying it's not true, but and I'm sure he might have took his time and figured out that is how he felt and is true, and it could be true, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would say anything like that. And yeah, he had a list of accomplishments. I mean, he has a statue outside of, I think it's outside the arena. I mean, it says in a bronze statue in Boston. And I mean, I won't run through like personal accomplishments, but there's a huge list here. I mean, he Sportsman of the Year in 1968, for Sports Illustrated. I mean, that's got to be a cool magazine to have if anybody, I'm sure somebody has it. I mean, you could probably. But yeah, I did just want to. It's always good to, at least for basketball people that watch the game. I watch an extraordinary amount of basketball, even when the NBA is not on. Like right now, I'm watching a good amount of WNBA, and I did turn on the TBT championship. Haven't watched any Big Three though, but just as a basketball guy. I think it's, the legends and the top people when they pass away, just recognizing them, I think is important. I know ESPN and all the different sports broadcasts and podcasts. And so I'm doing my due diligence here as, Bill Russell was that dude, can't even lie. It is pretty wild that he was drafted. He was drafted number 2 behind Cy Green in 1956. Pretty wild. But that's first quarter. Shout out to Bill Russell and the fam. I hope, he has done that. He has done his family and children, grandchildren. I'm sure he has, he's everybody. It's rare that you feel, like I won't say it's rare, but it's nice. The word is nice to know that your family member or your important person in your family or somebody you looked up to is a stand-up person, one of a kind person, never to be duplicated. It's something about that feeling, and I'm sure his family, his friends, people close to him feel that kind of way. So and it's just, I think that's just super cool to be that person and to have known that person. So Big Billy gone at 88. So for second quarter is about the major U.S. company layoffs. Robinhood lays off 23% of its staff, which isn't surprising. It would, obviously with the stock market dips and dunks and whatever, and what's on the horizon. Texas-based Oracle started laying off an undisclosed amount of employees. Undisclosed, always hate to hear that. The fitness company F54 laid off 110 employees. That's 45%. F45, I think it's Mark Wahlberg's, or he's affiliated with it. I'll drive past them all the time. They're always empty. Maybe it's an early morning type of jam. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, I rarely see people there. E-commerce company Shopify laid off employees with 10%, about 1,000. Skyrocketed demand for online shopping during the pandemic has leveled off, and the company made a bet that didn't pay off. I don't know. Boston tech watch company Whoop slashed 15% of its workforce. It now has a 550, cut about 97 people. 7-Eleven, 3,000 convenience stores, cut about 880 corporate jobs after completing a $21 billion deal to purchase Speedway. That just don't sound right to me. Seattle real estate startup Fly Home, 20% of the staff, about close to 200 workers. Uncertain economic conditions. Ford plans to lay off 8,000 employees. I said 80? Not 80. 8,000 employees. I'm not sure if I said 80, but they plan to lay off 8,000 employees. Vimeo, 6% of the workforce. Olive in Ohio, automated health software, laid off 450. That's 35%. Crypto exchange Gemini cut 68 employees. OpenSea laid off 20% of its staff. Tesla laid off 229. Autopilot division. Loan Depot, 2,000 employees. Rivian, 5% of its company's 14,000 employees. They say they grew too quickly. Remax not 17%. JP Chase, over 1,000. Laid off and reassigned more than 1,000. Coinbase, 1,100. That's in the last 2 months, and that's a good amount of people. A large percentage of people at these companies. And I'm not doing a financial breakdown of every single company and how much money they made. I know the profits are up there, and I just hate to see everything being profits, and people getting the short end of the stick. I just feel like it's way too soon, extremely too soon, to just be asking people after companies have made some money. Mind you, obviously it's been a weird time because losing money beginning of the pandemic. I feel like most of these companies, at least I named, made money, and I think they could have held on to employees for a little bit longer just to be able to see how much they can weather through it. But once you see, dipping into the profit margins and the board and making sure you make money, everything being about money is just it's just not a good space right now for people and people's mindsets and people working for companies. It just doesn't look good with everything. It just overarching just does not look good. It makes people feel very uncomfortable and shamed to work for a company, and that's why people want to quit, get new jobs, try to make more money, because you can be dumped on the curb so quickly, so fast, possibly for a job that you really loved, you really liked, company that you thought really liked you. It's just it's a mental thing. People are seeing this, being very aware of this a lot more now than I think ever before. So I just think companies just need to hold on a little bit tighter and not worry about profits right now. Everything can be profits every single year, especially after what the world has gone through, within these past, 2 to 3 years and what's to come. I think just holding on and keeping the people around just in case. I mean, a little more data doesn't hurt, and losing a little bit of money won't kill these companies. So yeah, just Robinhood makes, of all of them, Robinhood makes sense. That's still a lot. Robinhood is heavily dependent on stocks, and crypto was hailing it, pushing it along as well. So you can just see how that's kind of not rocket science to figure that one out. They're probably in trouble, but the rest of these companies are pretty big and successful companies. Once again, I don't know what F45. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, I could see that one tanking too, but some of those other big ones, JP Chase cutting and reassigning jobs, that's all a money grab. So that's the U.S. job cuts in the last 2 months or so. And third quarter, just an interesting story came out about Warner Brothers. A slight thing that I read too with Warner Brothers is that I guess they're gonna, or HBO Max is gonna kind of roll into Discovery Plus. I don't even know what Discovery Plus is. I don't even know what it looks like or heard anyone talk about it. Mind you, Warner Brothers could change that whole outlook, marketing, rebranding, getting it in front of people. But yeah, this article speaks on, yeah. There's a mention with HBO Max and Discovery Plus expect to merge. Yeah, so that's another reason why this is also pretty surprising to me, is because Batgirl, they asked, the news is Batgirl has been axed. I can't even get it out because it doesn't totally make sense. I mean, I'm not a corporate exec at a film studio, but Warner Brothers made the early mistake of telling everybody they were sending everything to HBO Max, which they never should have said or never should have did. Never should have done that. It shouldn't have been announced. It shouldn't have been did. It should have been a film by film type of thing, which made things very, very, on edge with everybody, talent, and, producers, directors, everything. So everybody felt skeptical there. But then there's obviously new regime, new people in charge, which the Variety article and pretty much every article you read about this will say. But then to kill Batgirl doesn't really make sense. But if from what Variety mentions here and how taxes loopholes happen, I guess taxes will be able to work it out where this film recoups more money than not. It looks like it grew to about 90 million. Had a 75 million budget, grew to 90 with COVID stuff. You can't spend $90 million. I just think you just put it out there and let people watch it. There's enough fans and just give the content out. To not release it at all is just really bizarre. Especially you had you had Michael Keaton, J.K. Simmons, and Brendan Fraser. I mean, that's three big names plus the star of the movie, the person that played Batgirl, Leslie Grace. I think it was enough that it at least should have went to HBO Max. And back to what I was just talking about in the quarter number 2 about companies and profits and making money. Like, it's always about that. And yes, I get it. It should be. Why not? But it has to be obviously kept in perspective. Cash, making money. You don't want to tank. You don't want to just be throwing money at anything. But you made a movie. You gotta. Put the joint out. Like, put it out somewhere. Especially if you were to say, "Hey, look, we're creating a merger." If Discovery Plus merges with HBO Max, the very least you could do is put a movie like Batgirl and the Scooby-Doo sequel on it. But they're gonna kill. They're killing or shelving. I think it sounds like Batgirl's dead. The Scooby 2 movie is probably just gonna be postponed because you'll be able to get something out of that. I'm sure. I think it's an animated film. But it looks like the new, yeah, I think it's David Zaslav. Yeah, he's kind of been on the rebranding of Warner Brothers, trying to get people back in from, like I said, the what most people think is a mistake to have. Most people, I think, in the industry and just in general, is that you don't want to mess up people's content. It's like a big jolt. Is that when they said everything's just going to HBO Max? It's like, I made a movie for it to be seen on the big screens. You just can't take my product and put it on people's. Most people are gonna be watching it probably on their iPad, not on even a 70-inch 4K screen. They're gonna be watching on their iPad. I made this for the movies, and that could be very, very frustrating, which I totally understand. And just a jolt, just to give a shock like that, could really, really ruin relationships, especially in a time where things were done a certain way successfully, and the pandemic, which wasn't going to last forever. Once again, just to try to put your streaming platform on a map, where I think HBO Max was always in good hands with just the catalog it already had. And then you have, they knew, the new Game of Thrones and all. There's stuff coming on the back end that was gonna keep it moving. They didn't need to do this with the movies. So this almost seems like another just weird misstep by Warner Brothers. But like I said, I'm not, I wouldn't do nothing like this. Once again, as I just said, with the companies and the layoffs, I don't know the exact numbers. Now, if taxes come out where if you get rid of this movie and you can recoup all of the money. It says several sources say it will most likely certainly take a tax write-down on both films, seen in turn as the most financially sound to recoup the costs, at least on an accounting ledger. It could justify that by chalking it up to a post-merger change of strategy. If that works and gets them, I don't even know what amount of money, but if it makes more sense than what they said was going to make on however they do HBO Max or in theaters, I guess you can have it. And if the movie sucked that bad, I did I guess they were doing screenings and people weren't really feeling the screenings. But if it sucked that bad, and I think, I'm sure these execs, when it sucks. So maybe it just sucks that bad, and I doubt the Scooby-Doo movie does, though. And once again, I'm sure they have something up their sleeve. They probably have more films, and this one might have been an easy one to, given. But it's super baffling, and Warner Brothers just made they have made missteps, and this is mainly why I want to talk about it, because I always feel like the I don't think I ever talked about it, but the misstep with moving everything, straight to streaming instead of theater, that early announcement was silly, and I think stuff like this, Batgirl, maybe not being good or important in the comics, but just for the culture at a time where women superheroes, and it would have just been good to have have a movie like this go to theaters. I just think it's just a good look that's not gonna look anymore. All right, so on fourth quarter is my review time. We know how it goes here at Play Some D, and I'm reviewing I won't even say much anticipated, but just anticipated Beyonce's, what is this? I don't even know what number album this is. This would be a 7th studio album. Columbia Records, Parkwood Entertainment. First one in 6 years, Lemonade. And it's going to be number one. Projected to sell somewhere between 275, 315 is the guess. I just read something that said possibly like 325. Harry Styles opened at 521, 500 in May with Harry's House. Decent album to me. And I don't know how much buzz Harry's had, but it probably had a little more than Beyonce's. But I still think Beyonce, if Harry's at 500, Beyonce should probably be at like 4 at least. So this is a little bit let down, but 325, whatever it comes out to be, it's a good number. It's a good number. I don't think she cares about it. I'm sure she doesn't care about numbers anymore. But the number was a little off for me, that it's that much lower than Harry. And I think Adele did a gigantic number. I'm pretty sure. I will have to double check that. Break My Soul was the lead single. I think it just dropped like 2 weeks ago, maybe, or something like that. I can't stand the song. It's a decent song, but I can't stand it. But this album, arguably, is her best one to me. I do need to go back before I totally confirm this, but I think this is her best album. There's a few I need to listen to, re-listen to, and then this will more than likely be in my top 10 for the year at the end of the year. I'm That Girl starts it off very, very good. I hate to say this, I don't like saying this, but I do think the album, there's guy albums there's for guys that women listen to. There's girl albums that guys listen to. That's for girls. I think this is a woman empowerment. I won't even call it woman empowerment. I just think it resonates with women, and that's totally fine. She's a woman. I'll listen to it, but I can understand why most people probably won't, and it'll be more so for me. Just there's a couple tracks in here that go pretty good in the gym, like Cuff It. America Has a Problem. I think it was Cozy. There's a couple tracks I listened to in the gym that definitely had me going. So those will be ran back. The Dream had his handprint all over this one, which I thought would have made it. I thought that was gonna make it a good album, and he did his thing. A lot of writing credits from samples and things of that nature. There's been some issues with removing some lyrics, which is silly. There's some terms that I get it. I think like she mentioned like spaz, and it's something to do. I forgot. And Khalees made a thing about her being on Energy, maybe, or something. I'm not totally sure, but Khalees is on here, and I guess she didn't get her credit or didn't get asked, whatever. So I guess Beyonce's removing lyrics, and then people are obviously gonna go back to her old music. I think Monica Lewinsky asked to be removed from a partition or something like that. I don't know if that was actually true, but I just feel like there's people that you set a precedent where, okay, you take some people off and take words out that they're gonna ask you to go back and do that, which is just we're just in a very interesting time right now with speech and what you can say and do and whatever. But just to finish through, Alien Superstar is really, really good. I said Comfort is good. Energy and To Break My Soul. The transitions between almost every single song on here makes the album cohesion, which makes it it's a very small nuanced thing with an album, but the way she transitions, the way the production is done, it is so sound, like top of the line, that makes it superior without the lyrics, without the mystique. Actually, it's no mystique, but without the I can't think of the word. The cohesion not the cohesion. The cohesion is the transitions. Without the theme, I guess you can say, of it. The I don't feel like it's empowerment, but just that feel. It is definitely feel good. It is up. It's not down. It has a very, very smooth listen, and it's just something about it. It's just good. Virgo's Groove is the best song on here by far. I do think America Has a Problem is really, really good too. Move, Thick, and Plastic Off the Sofa are up there too. And that's the other thing too, is that when I listen to it outside of Virgo's Groove, I mean, everything else sits right in such a healthy, really good place that it just feels, the album feels really good to listen to. I listened to it in headphones at first, and I was just like, let me just get through it. And I just found myself enjoying it and replaying songs where I don't normally do that, which made things really, really, make me really like perk my ears up. Like, oh wait, this is really good. I like this. Like, and I feel like I have a decent sound for music. I always say I should have been a NASCAR driver or an A&R. I would have put out heat for sure if I would have been an A&R, and if I was in NASCAR. I don't know how good I would be, but I definitely can. I'm decent at driving. So yeah, in the song "Heated," the word "spaz" it's this disability advocates is an offensive ableist slur. Khalees criticized Beyonce for her Milkshake single, and it's featured on Energy. It constitutes a set of background vocals near the end. Yeah, so it's been removed on streaming platforms. I want to listen to that again because I totally missed that. But I miss everything. I miss all subtle samples on anybody's album because I'm not looking for them. I never look for. The digesting part outside of lyrics. I'm always listening for lyrics, but like finding every single piece of a song on first listen is never my goal. I'm never trying to hack the music. Never trying to hack anything. I don't know why I wanted to say that. I really want to say that. I'm never trying to find the break or find the obvious miscues in anybody's art when it comes to anything. Movies, TV shows, music, video games. When something's really bad and it sticks out, it sticks out, sure. But to go and look for it and find it, mind you, that's specifically Khalees. That's her music, and there's people listening for that. Especially when you look at credits and things, you can figure it out. That's what you're looking for. But for me, as a music person, I like to just listen to the body of work and then give it my thumb of approval and go from there. Then as I listen to it more, I'll be like, oh yeah. I'm not listening to this on streaming platforms, so I'll go back and listen to it. I'll have the original forever. So that's that. This is act 1. So I highly doubt she tops it. But Renaissance 7th studio album by Beyonce is a goodie. And 59 by Coach D, Play Some D, is a goodie. So it's bomb. Yeah, man, that was just Beyonce. Did a site review. I'll end of the year, I'll do my top 10. I'm pretty sure this will be in it, and I'll do a little more in depth of all the albums. I'll do a whole episode on just album review, top albums of the year, and I won't do a huge breakdown, but I'll break down a little more. Obviously, it's only been out a couple of days. I'm trying not to go too far with having it out a couple of days. I've listened to some of the songs 4 times, most of the songs 2 times, 2 full listens throughs. Like I said, I replayed some songs that normally never happens with albums, even like ones I really, really like. U.S. company Layoffs, talked about that was, I think it was, I don't know, one of the quarters. Warner Brothers and Batgirl is just super interesting. I'm going to follow that story for sure. I just want to see if anything else comes out of it and just kind of pay attention to see what HBO and Warner Brothers and Discovery Plus does. And shout out to Bill Russell, just a pioneer in the NBA basketball world. He meant a lot to a lot of people, meant a lot to the sport, and he did his thug thizzle. So shout out to him. And as always, drop a comment, hit the like button, do whatever, do all that good stuff for the boy. And I'm out of this piece. Keep it light, keep it tight. You know how we do. And until the next one, Big 6-0 coming at your head top. I holla.